Hey, there was a notification came on the screen. That's why I was looking gormless for a second. Morning crew, welcome back to the Andy Mechanic Workshop. And of course, another live stream. We've been doing this now for 2.5 years, 3 years. Crazy, really is. Anyway, let's get the camera sorted out for you. A bit too much to the rear door there. There we go. Right, perfect. So, what's been happening in the last couple of weeks since the last live stream? Well, you'll have to hang on and find out, won't you? Because there's a few more yet to join. Come on, everybody. When you're ready, pile into the workshop. Now, let's just get set up. Boom. Go on YouTube, you can do it. There we go. Excellent. Now, I may well have found the cheapest pie in New Zealand. In fact, Mrs. Mechanic found it. It's got a perfect name. It's called a Westie. There, look. Even the packaging is all to cock. I'm going to try and get it round for you. Anyway, that's what it is. A Westie pie. Steak and cheese. Great price. Great taste. Great mate. I've never been friends with a pie before. But hey, who knows? Today might be the day. One thing that Mrs. Mechanic did mention is it's very, very light. There's not a lot of weight to it. 170 grams it says on the packet. It doesn't even feel that, to be fair. So, a bit later on, I'm going to pull it out of the packet and we'll get it warmed up and we'll just see how it fares. I don't hold out a lot of hope, to be fair. What's going on here? New pinned chat. Got it. Thank you very much. Right, who have we got in the workshop? Let's just get rid of all this rubbish. There we go. Simon Rawl. Morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Simon. Welcome back, matey. Great to have you back in the workshop. The Giant Governor. Evening, Andy and crew from South Africa. Good morning, the Giant. Daniel Beddle. What's up, Andy? Well, of course, it's bloody raining again. I was supposed to be doing the gearbox inspection on the Bonneville last weekend after the live stream. No, not after the live stream, but last weekend. And it was chucking it down. It was raining cats and dogs. Audio would have been terrible, so I had to abort mission. Yesterday, I had a bit more work to do on the ROV. I can't finish it. I'm still waiting for parts. So that's now, I did what I could, put the wheels back on, no brakes on it, and just pushed it under the house port. And that's out of the way for now. And then I came in yesterday afternoon after I'd finished that and spent probably about 3 hours. Initially, I wasn't going to film. I was just going to have a quick check and see, read through the manual, see how the land lies, prepare myself for the video, because the manual's a little bit difficult to read, to be perfectly honest. And I mean, it's Old English, don't get me wrong, and being an Englishman, I should be able to understand it perfectly. But it's written very differently to modern day manuals. So I just wanted to make sure that I was covering everything correctly. And, it was going to be accurate, the video. Anyway, God, there's so many adverts today. I found myself actually starting to film. And what kicked it off is I wanted to send Alan a couple of short videos through Messenger on what I'd found, just to give him a bit of a heads up. And then I thought, well, if I'm going to start filming, I might as well film everything, right? I didn't get finished. Oh, got some photos come through. Thank you, Daniel. I didn't get all the filming finished, but I got the main shaft, the lay shaft, and the lay shaft gears inspected. I think it was. I don't know. Yes, lay shaft gears. And I think that was about it. Got the DTI out, the V-blocks, and so on. Very interesting. That's all I'm going to say. No spoilers. Very interesting. You'll have to wait for the video to come out. The next video will cover the gearbox internals inspection. It's going to be too long to include the primary drive stuff as well, so that'll be a separate video, which is probably the best way of doing it anyway. I'm not going to say any more than what's already in the videos because I don't want to give it away, but I've got a pretty good idea, and I'm sure Simon has as well, and other motorcycle mechanics that are listening. If you've watched the videos, I'm pretty sure you'll have a good idea of the sequence of events and what was the main cause of the failure. What was the catalyst? What triggered it? That's the important bit. other than the guy that put it together, right? Less said about him, the better. Jim K, hello! Good morning, Jim. Welcome back to this workshop. And because it's raining, we're probably going to get a bit of rain on the inside of the workshop. The roof is not in a good condition at all at the moment. We've got many, many wet patches on the floor. You'll see those when we head over to the pie warmer. Gary Hills. Hi, Andy. Any news on the Bonneville? I think I answered that. There is news. There's great, well, there's, as the media would say, clickable news, right? There's stuff out there. It's got a hook to it. So you're going to have to just hang in there and wait for the video. It's going to be good. It is. And, yeah, I can't really say much more. Alan's going to have to dig deep to fix this one. Sorry, Alan. We might wait for parts as well, for quite a while because of what we need. Simon. Asda used to do a smart price beef and veg pie. It was 38 pence at the time. So cheap and crap, it was nice. 38p. I mean, even if you say that's $1 for a pie here in New Zealand, would I buy one? I don't know. I mean, you should never judge the quality of what you're getting on the price that you're paying, because that nowadays that often isn't the case. You can easily get caught out. But 38p for a pie, don't know. Better you than me, Simon. Mazowix, good morning. I got a text a text message, whatever it was this morning. Oh, it was a YouTube message, that was it, saying, is there a live stream? Well, there is, and here we are. Thanks for joining us, mate. Daniel, just let you know, elastomer actually, oh, hang on. We've got a symbol over the thingy. Hang on, there's all sorts of stuff going on today. Elastomer, actually the sealant used for steel roofs. Oh, really? I don't think we use any sealant on our roofs. Oh, it's Craig Stevens' birthday today. Good friend of mine. Happy birthday, Craig. Craig has a Yamaha dealership not too far away. Top bloke. He'll always swear at you. Doesn't matter what mood he's in, which is normally a bad mood. Sorry, Craig. He comes across that way anyway. He will always swear at you, but he's actually in his happy place. That's just how he is. You've got to take it with a pinch of salt. Got to be quite robust when you're talking to Craig. Right, Daniel, where are we at? Using the elastomer to go ahead and seal up the steel roof on the storage facility, aka storage lockers. Okay. I'm going to show you this. Oh, just a seal on there. Oh, it's one of those roofs. Right, it's one of those. It's like a lock-up garage type of thing we call it in England. And he's been doing the roof. So obviously you've got these little ridge lines along there that he's been putting the sealant in. Hey, good job, mate. It's not an easy task with that, to be fair, especially in the baking sun. There you go, a few more. God, it'd be nice to have a line of garages like that to store everything in. Oh, there you go. She's looking a bit rusty, mate. Rusty roof. That's not ideal. Yeah, look, I was zoomed in. Are you just painting over the rust, or is the elastomer like a paint and it creates a waterproof sealant? A bit like the stuff that we used when we did the shower or the bathroom. And we've got a wet room bathroom here. It sounds posh, it's not, but we used some like blue sealant stuff before we put the tiles down. I don't want to install the latest Windows updates. Go away, oh, man. Thank you, Daniel, for the photos. Appreciate it. JJ, morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, JJ. Welcome back to the workshop, matey. Madowix. Ooh, hang on a minute. We've got a little YouTube symbol with a roof on it. What does that mean? Oh, Jonathan, you're going to have to explain yourself. I have no idea what that means. Or is that the YouTube workshop symbol? I don't know. Purple Monkey 1974. Hello, everybody. Good morning, Purple Monkey 1974. Welcome back to the workshop. So, what else has been going on in the last couple of weeks? I have to think back, actually. Yeah, so you probably know better than I do actually. The first week, which it seems so long ago now, I think I was working from home for the first 3 days, and then I had to go up to Auckland the Thursday, Friday. Yeah, took the RRV back, picked up another one. That's probably what happened. Saturday was spent working on said ROV and unpacking the ute because it was full of stuff. And Sunday, I was going to do the Bonnie, didn't because it was pouring down the rain. That's right, had a day in the house and just did some editing. And that's how I got the video out for you because I just didn't have time to edit it during the week, which was the plan. So that to me, bad weather, have a day in the house, job done, right? Watched a movie in the afternoon, which was nice. And then this last week, early Monday morning, I had to drive up north and had a couple of visits to do on the way to Auckland, actually. A full-on motorcycle shop visit. And before that, I had to just call in and sort out a diagnostic tool that had basically failed. Had to replace that and install it on their laptop and stuff, which all went to plan, which was pretty good. Got to Auckland, did a couple of collections and stuff in Auckland. Oh, I had to go, that's right, I had to go back out to Henderson that evening. And it was really bad weather, really windy and wet. Because when I picked the ROV up on the Friday night, it was pitch black, it was pouring rain, and the guy, Laurie, really nice guy, old chap, really nice. He'd taken the one that I'd fixed, put it in the shed, and brought me the next one. And it was maybe a 100-metre drive to where we'd parked in the car park because it was just easier to load up there. And they'd left. He'd forgotten to take out the defibrillator box and all the other, medical emergency gear that's kept in the tray of the ROV. So there I am. I didn't realise. Got to Henderson to go and pick up a pizza and went under a floodlight, parked under a floodlight in this sort of shopping area, and spotted the cases in the tray. And I'm like, holy shit! And I only spotted them when I came back with my pizza. Hell's Pizza it was, very nice. So I thought, shit, amazing that they hadn't been stolen for a start because there's some serious money there. So I put them in the tray of the ute, and on my way back to East Tamaki where I was staying, I gave Laurie a call and said, hey, look, you left these in the tray. I need to get them back to you, obviously, ASAP, because, you need them for saving people's lives. So we managed to get them back to him on Monday afternoon, Monday late afternoon, tea time-ish. Did the swap, and he brought me a bottle of wine. Thank you, Laurie. Very nice. Appreciate that. And then on the Tuesday morning, had to leg it up to Kaiwaka, had a meeting there, stayed in Whangarei that night, had a meeting in Whangarei the following morning, and then had to head up to a place called Manganui on the east coast, not too far from Kaitaia. Oh, State Highway 1 is still closed. There's a massive landslip up there. So it's a diversion route, takes a bit longer, but I was going to Manganui anyway. Little sort of quaint fishing village it is, very touristy when it's not raining. So stayed there the night, and then went around to Kaitaia for Thursday morning. Spent the whole day at the dealers there, did quite a lot of training on the portal, how to use the system and download manuals and stuff. That was pretty cool. And then stayed up in Kaitaia that night with Dave. Dave owns Kaitaia Motorcycles. His wife cooks us a wonderful meal, very nice. And then first thing Friday morning, I had a very long journey home, 9 hours of driving it took. 5 hours down to Auckland. I had a couple of collections to do in Auckland and drop-offs, and then straight out home. No trailer, so it wasn't too bad. But 9 hours, I was pretty knackered by the end of that. I was. So it was a busy, busy week. Like I say, yesterday, got a bit more done on the ROV. Can't do any more. I've done everything I possibly can now. It has to just get parked up to all the parts turn up. One of those things. It's off season, they don't need it. And got on to doing the preliminary inspections of the Bonnie's gearbox. And I found it very interesting. I'm very pleased that I did, actually. It was pretty cool. So there you go. Whirlwind recap of the last 2 weeks. Hang on a minute. The Giant. I used a rubber paint on my workshop roof. So far, so good. This one leaks. It's leaked for ages. I intend to re-roof it. I haven't had a chance to do it yet. It's not that huge expense. I don't think it would take us that long to do, me and Ben. Probably able to knock it out in a couple of days, tops. But, of course, it exposes the whole workshop to potential rain, so I think we'll have to wait till the summer to do it, which means it'll be baking hot. But anyway, I don't know when it's going to happen. At the moment, we just get rained on now and again. It's annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Daniel, it actually has a rubber inhibitor in it. At least this particular one that I'm using, it stops the rust. Oh, sorry, a rust inhibitor. It stops the rust, it's pretty good actually, and converts it into a primer that you actually go ahead and just roll on a brush on. And I've seen that rust converter quite a bit. We use it a lot on vehicles over here when they're before the underseal. I'll brush it on in tight areas. Very good. Well, if it does the trick, it does the trick, right? Richard Perry. Hi, Andy and crew. Hope all is doing well. GB, thumbs up. Absolutely. We're doing all right. I mean, there's lots to do, but I'm sort of ahead of the game a little bit at the moment. Sure, I mean, the ROV, that's sort of dragging on at the moment because of the parts supply, but we got all the kits out. They're all done. They've all been shipped out. So that's a big tick in a huge box, to be fair. It's done. I've got one more ROV at the moment lined up to service and fix after this one. So yeah, things aren't too bad. It's good to be focusing back on the Bonnie, and obviously we're going to get to a point where ultimately I'm going to have a parts list. Now that's not going to be complete until I've done the inspection on the primary drive as well, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a few parts in there that need to be replaced as well as what's in the gearbox. Watch this space. Once all that's done, everything will just get boxed up, packed up on the shelf. I've got some nice boxes now that I've labelled up and stuff. That actually I've had for years but never got around to using them, so they're up there, done. And then I can focus on other stuff, hopefully get a few more videos out, because it's going to take probably 2 or 3, maybe even 4 months to get all the parts together and to get ready. And then I have to schedule, I mean hopefully September if we can get the parts in time, because I'm going down anyway. Back end of September I've got to be in Queenstown. So the plan is to whip the engine out of the bike and take it down there with me and spend maybe 1 or if not 2 weekends with Stu, who's worked on the old Bonnevilles a lot in his heyday, and we're going to do the assembly of the gearbox and the primary drive with Stu. If I can take the whole bike, I'd like to take the whole bike because she's not running great, or Alan alleged that she wasn't running great anyway, so I could leave the bike with Stu during the week once it's all done, and he could take it out for a ride and just sort out the carburation side of it, because again he knows those carbs a lot better than I do, and chances are it's just a little tweak and she'll be good to go, but who knows. Stu is the guru when it comes to that kind of stuff, so we'll find out, and then we can do a little recap video of what he found and so on. That's sort of the plan. Right, the pie, let's crack on with the pie, because otherwise we're going to go on forever and I've got lots to do today. So if you've just joined us, this is a Westie pie. Steak and cheese, weighs 170 grams, and it was only $2.75. I know, $2.75. Probably the cheapest pie I've ever come across, other than the 6-pack of pies that you can buy from the supermarket. They're like $9, $10 for 6, so they're even cheaper. So, you know, who knows? It might be all right. It just feels very light. Okay, we're going in. Here we are. Westie pie. Never done a Westie pie. Never even eaten a Westie pie before, so I have no idea what we're going to get. First of all, it's square, not round. Okay, here we go. So we've got a bit of a opening there, look. Just checking the structural integrity of this pie. Bit of a crack. Yeah, a bit of a crack across the top. What's the base like? Oh, base is perfect. Does feel very soft though, the whole thing. And this has been in the fridge overnight. And I think this is a mechanic purchased it a couple of days ago. Okay, to the pie warmer. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Going to unplug you. There we go. Interesting back of the sandblasting cabinet. Lovely. Okay, the pie is going on its last trip. Probably before warming. Oh my word. Yes, I know, I have not cleaned the pie warmer yet. We have got, actually looking at that, a little bit of an opening going on. Hello. On the corner. So the bonding has failed. Right, 23 minutes. Let's leave that alone. Okay. Oh, God. Yes. I've seen actually have gained a little bit more enthusiasm for this thing at the moment, now that we're doing the measurements and things, but yeah. Yeah. And Simon, you've worked on these things in the past, I think, years and years ago. This to me it looks like somebody's put like some kind of oil baffle in there. It doesn't look original. I haven't seen it in the service manual at all. So the fact it's got a wood screw into the aluminium as well is probably not a listed part for this bike. So I don't know. Is it original? Is it not? Or should there be a different style plate in there? There is actually a bit of a recess in the casting. It comes down here. So maybe it should have a baffle in there and it's been lost or damaged and somebody's tried to make something up. I don't know. We're going to find out. But, yeah, the old Bonnie, eh? Great fun. She's getting a bit rusty on the disc. That's sacrilege, that is. Oh, it'll clean up. It'll be fine. Give Alan something to do, won't it? Right, back to the bench. In fact, actually, no, while we're out and about, little sneaky peek. This is what I was up to yesterday, just checking stuff. I've got the old DTI out and the V-blocks and stuff. Now, as regards V-blocks, and I'll cover this in the video as well, you know, I don't have the super nice machine ones. This is all I have, easily made up from bits of steel. And they work fine, you know. They didn't cost really anything to make. And actually, I didn't make them. This isn't my welding. If that was my welding, it'd be a lot wider bead on the weld. Somebody else made them, and they got passed on to me, which was nice. And they did the trick. They're all right, and they're easy to clamp down to the bench, which is nice. A lot better than the other ones. So you know, it works. But yeah, here you go. I'm not going to say anything. You can just look at it and go, what other components? This is the question. What other components here are also damaged? Well, I'm on that journey. We're going to find out. I'm not going to tell you anything. I can't, because it'll spoil the video, won't it? I want you sat on the edge of your seat when you're watching to see what's going on and what has Andy found, and you know, feel free to chip in and help, because you know, you might spot something that I don't spot, and that's what these videos are all about. I mean, they were a great help doing the CB750. That was fantastic. You know, you guys spotted all sorts of other problems that at the time I was sort of quite blinkered. You know, I was focused on just the poor running and the poor starting element. I wasn't focused on the rest of the bike, and you spotted all sorts of stuff. So you know, we got that fixed at the same time, on most of it anyway. Oh, hang on, I've been rambling on. Hang on. Rewind. Holy moly, you guys have been busy. Right. Matowix. Couldn't type text. Got it working. Do you still go past... So I'm jumping a couple of questions because it's almost like a one comment. Couldn't type text, got it working. One, do you still go past the Polaris shop in Kaiwaka? I go past there sometimes. Polaris shop in Kaiwaka? Didn't even know there was one. I do go past there was a Suzuki dealer. Maybe it was the same place, no, but there was a Suzuki dealership on the right as you're heading north. Just before you get to the Foursquare turn-off, which is where the Yamaha shop is, just round the back. But the Suzuki shop's gone. Over and done with. There is a Polaris shop in Wellsford. When you're leaving Wellsford on the left, as you go down the hills, there's one there. Polaris or Can-Am? Actually, it could be Can-Am. I think it's Can-Am. Might be Can-Am and Polaris. Yeah. I thought this one was open now. Oh, State Highway. Sorry, I thought State Highway was open now. State Highway 1 is categorically closed and will still be for a long time on the last hills down into Kaitaia. You've still got to turn off onto, Christ, I don't even remember what it's called, but there's only one other way. Well, there actually isn't. This is mechanic proof that there's lots of other ways to kind of tire via gravel roads, but they take you ages to do. But when you come to a junction, you hang a right, and that takes you up to like Kerry and Manganui and stuff, and round the east coast side, and then you come round the top to get to Kaitaia. And that road is ridiculously busy now because that's where all the traffic's going. It's the only real way to Kaitaia, and the road is in a terrible state. Massive potholes all over the place, and we're not just talking a couple of inches deep. These are proper holes. And you've got to really feel sorry for the motorcyclists up there when they're riding around, because it's not if, it's when. You know, there's gravel on the road from washouts and stuff, there's big potholes, there's loads of bare tar seal around. It's actually a very treacherous road if you don't keep your wits about you. Now then, Mike Adams, hi y'all! I'm late, but I'm here while taking a breather. Good job, Mike. This is my breather, this is my time just to chill on a Sunday morning, and of course it's raining again, so I'm pleased I'm not outside. Mike Adams, I found some of our mechanics' tools on the engine, chassis, and other places occasionally. I give them a little bit of a ribbing because I'm guilty of doing it myself sometimes. Yeah, I've lost tools. When I was working on cars, I'm sure I lost a couple of tools just by leaving them under the bonnet, you know, in the engine bay, and shutting the bonnet and sending it on its way. The most recent one that I lost, which I do kick myself about, was on the Little Eiffel Williams trailer. We did a video of changing a wheel bearing, and part of that, you know, at the end of the video, I think I showed how to adjust the brake. I'm not sure it was in the video or not. I can't remember, but I had to adjust the brake anyway because it was, you know, one of four. I thought, well, if I can get one of them working, that's a bonus. And there was a 17mm nut bolt head on the rear of the backing plate of the drum, which is your adjustment. I ended up having to take the whole adjuster out and clean it all up because it was sort of semi-seized. It wasn't working very well. And I was sort of against the clock. Mrs. Mechanic saying, your tea's ready, get inside. You know, I had to get the trailer put back together because I needed it the next day. And anyway, I was rushing, which is the problem. So I put the wheel on, leaving my ratchet and my 17mm single hex 3/8 socket on the back of that adjustment bolt. And that was the last time I ever saw it. And it's on video. It's there, and now it's gone. Somewhere on the road. Somebody won a nice ratchet. With a bit of history as well. A famous ratchet, to be fair. Wasn't the cost, really. It was more the waste. I hate losing things, and, you know, things costing money when they don't have to. Mazwix, what do you think of Whangarei? Did you go into any bars there? Whangarei is, as is Kaitaia now, to be fair, it's getting to be quite a rough place. There's quite a lot of crime up there, a lot of gangs, a lot of gang activity going on, and it doesn't seem to be particularly affluent. I don't know. You've got to be pretty wary where you park and where you go, I think. And no, I didn't get a chance to go to any bars. Normally when I'm on the road, I can be pretty boring actually in some places. That particular week I had a lot of admin work to get done on the evenings, so it was a case of, you know, get your visits done, get to where you're staying, get the laptop open, and I can sit in front of the laptop for 4 or 5 hours at a time just trying to catch up with all the emails and bits and pieces that have come through during the day. You know, I don't answer my phone when I'm doing dealer visits. You know, the time is theirs, it's nobody else's. And that's just how I operate, and that obviously means there's things to catch up with. Usually I can't call them back if it's in the evenings, so I'll flick them an email and we'll spark an email conversation the following morning, which then doesn't get replied to again until the following afternoon when I'm doing admin work again. It's actually quite difficult. I'm spinning a lot of plates, and it can get quite stressful sometimes. I think Mrs. Mechanic sees it more than I do. She sees the stress building up in me now and again. And it does, and it's bad, you know, it really is. I mean, I'm used to dealing with an awful lot of stuff going on at the same time, but often you reflect back on it and go, man, I could have done that better. You know, you try to do things better and try to keep cool and just help people without allowing their frustration to impact on you, which it can do sometimes, you know. It's difficult. It is. It's not one of those clock in, clock out jobs, that's for sure. Simon, speaking of diagnostic tool, was plugged into a BMW. I wanted a pin code to get into the special functions. Okay. I don't have any stuff for BMW bikes at all. Just don't get involved with them. I do have a contact that used to work for BMW motorcycles in South Africa. He might be able to help, but it's a bit of a long shot. I haven't spoken to the guy for quite a while. He works for Can-Am, a Can-Am dealership now. So whether he's got contacts that can help, I don't know. So you might have drawn a short straw there, Simon. Might not be able to help. Purple Monkey 874. Pizza reviews instead of pies. Oh man. Yeah, good idea, but I don't want to be ending up eating loads of pizzas. I don't. I mean, you know, big enough as it is. Madowix, it's $80 for a car waft now of ETNZ. $80. Holy crap! I think when we got the DR200 Farm Special warranted, and again we did a video on that. I think it was like $74 for a motorbike or something, or 68. It was bloody ridiculous. It was really expensive what they wanted for a warrant, and it took the guy, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I spent a lot longer queuing than I did actually getting the warrant done, and then he failed it on the headlight. I think it was, and something else. Oh, no reflector. That was it. We had to go back and get it done. But $80 for a car warrant now. That's mental. Manowix, I had a dad's pie at 4 a.m. this morning. Yes, you're probably on duty, weren't you? Clock in the morning. Westy pies are all pastry. Well, we're going to find out. I hope not. Westy pies are the bottom of the barrel. Okay, well, you've got to taste the worst to appreciate the best, right? So maybe that's why Mrs. Mechanic bought it. But $2.75. It's $2.75 for a reason, right? The pie looks anemic, says Simon. It does. It looks very white and horrible. Not worked on them. Oh, okay. That was probably the gearbox thing. Right. Well, we'll find out. It'll be a journey for all of us. Madowix, I cook all my dinners in a pie warmer. That's what I like to hear. Dedication. I do a lot more with my pie warmer. I dry things that I've painted, small things that I've painted in it, and all sorts. It's really useful, actually. It's a great workshop addition. Mike Adams, we mechanics, no matter how we gain our skills, are like doctors. Most of us can be categorized as general practitioners. Wow. Others are absolute specialists in one part of it or another. You're absolutely correct. And I certainly feel I feel like I'm a jack of all trades within the automotive industry. You know, I've done a bit of cars, I've done the Unimog, I've done a bit of plant machinery, I've done a lot of quad bikes, a lot of ROVs, plenty of motorcycles, and I've done all the jobs involved. You know, I've built engines up and I've built forks up and suspension and all sorts, and done wheel alignments on cars. You know, I've done sort of a bit of everything really, and I wouldn't say that I'm a specialist in any of it, in all honesty. That's how I feel. I just like to pass on the skills that I've got, and also gain a lot more from the viewers giving me ideas and pointers and direction. It's been a journey. It's a collaboration. That's what it is. It's a collaboration between me and the viewers, and by making the videos, I get to learn more on the journey. You know. And it's enjoyable. I enjoy the learning part. The one thing that I do understand pretty well is fuel injection systems. Certainly on the motorcycle side, the ATV side, it's not particularly complicated. And it often surprises me what little knowledge there is out there on that kind of stuff. especially here in New Zealand. You know, on a regular basis, mechanics will end up being just fire the parts cannon, hoping that it fixes the problem, and it, of course, usually it doesn't. I mean, I always say, you know, 9 out of 10 times, it's a wiring fault. It's not a component issue. And also, go back to basics, it could be a mechanical problem causing the symptom that you believe to be a fuel injection issue when actually it isn't. It's just either poor compression or a broken valve spring or a leaky valve or whatever, you know. Often it's not the EFI that's to blame, it's something else, whether it's the wiring joining it all together or it's a mechanical problem, you know. It's surprising. You know, we did a diagnostic recently, which I wasn't involved with at the start. I've really sort of just managed it, really, as opposed to actually being involved hands-on with the diagnostic. And I was on leave when it first started, and things didn't go well. The customer was quite grumpy, and he might still be grumpy. The bike's fixed now, and it's gone back to him, but I don't know. I'm waiting for that phone call. It may not end well. New Zealand's consumer rights laws here are incredibly strong, and it makes it very, very difficult. The minute there's a problem with the vehicle, if it's not fixed straight away or fixed first time, it really puts you on the back foot. And you get the odd customer that starts making all these various demands, and oh man, it can get quite difficult, to be honest. Manowix, I wanted to buy a new DR200 SE, the road one. What's the closest bike now? Because they're banned. They are the banned because they've got no ABS, right? So anything under 250, anything over 124, 125, anything 125cc and above has to have either ABS on both wheels, or, as in the monkey bike, ABS just on the front wheel is enough, or a linked brake system. If it has a linked brake system, i.e. when you apply the front brake, it puts some of the rear on, or I think if you put the rear brake on, it applies the front a bit. There's definitely some kind of link going on. We only had one that fitted that category in the lineup, and only ever had one problem with it. Yeah, there's not a lot out there, to be honest. However, if you buy what's classed as an enduro bike, and I mean a DR200 of that category, the trail bike version, it could well still be exempt, because you could say it's an enduro bike, and you know it's road registered, obviously. It's a bit of a grey area. The New Zealand government, they came up with all sorts of plans when they implemented the ABS requirement on these bikes. Initially they said that, you know, you buy the bike, and then you know, as the customer, you buy the bike, and then you've got to apply for an exemption with NZTA. They'll, you know, look into your case. If you are using the bike for enduros, for competition work and events and so on, and you can prove that, then they'll allow the road registration of the bike. There may be some covenants on there on distances and so on. I don't know. I've never done it. And then about 6-9 months down the line, they pulled the pin on that and said, oh, no, as long as it's an enduro bike, you're all good. But they didn't put it in writing. There's a lot of misunderstanding in the network at the moment across New Zealand. And to be perfectly honest, if it got to the point where if you put a sticker on the fuel tank saying the word enduro bike, at some testing stations where they register bikes, that was good enough. Yes. Most bizarre, and that was enough to allow them to be exempt from ABS. So, what could you buy? Well, there's a Kawasaki Sherpa 250. That's a similar kind of bike. There's I know it's not brand new anymore, there's the Yamaha XT250. That's a good bike. It's a really good bike. But again, it hasn't got ABS, but you'd have to say you're using it for enduro, which you probably could. There was also the WR250R, not the F, the R, which I don't think you can buy new anymore either. That was a really good bike. And you could probably have got that through as an enduro bike, if you put a sticker on the fuel tank. Simon, Have you been watching Ivan's trip on his old XS 750? I have. And we got to the point yesterday, while I was having my coffee, where his brother had just fallen off on a crest. Oh, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. On a crest, went over a crest, and there was some gravel on the road and he fell off. And there was a bit of damage to his bike. That's as far as I've got. There's still some more to watch. I actually messaged Ivan, flicked him an email, I think it was last weekend. I think it was, so it might have been during this week. The days blur into one, unfortunately, and he was working on, Christ, was it a Volvo? I think it was a Volvo. He was working at the butchered Volvo, that's right, and there was a few episodes in it, and when the car was delivered to him, it was in a right state. It was just thrown back together loosely. Parts were missing, parts were broken, and he had to work his way through it, and he did a fantastic job on that car, bringing it back to life and finding all the issues. I really feel sorry for the owner. I really, really do. The guys that were working on that before Ivan, and I use the word working on it loosely, if they'd taken a pickaxe to the engine, they'd have probably done less damage. It was just horrific. They had no idea what they were doing. And Ivan had to pick up the pieces, and he did a fantastic job. And I flicked him a short email just saying, hope all is well, and just letting him know that I really enjoyed the series. It's good for us creators to talk now and again. I haven't spoken to Ivan for quite some time. And he flicked his email back and said, just you wait till the motorbike trip videos go out. You'll enjoy that. So obviously I've been watching those. Very different way of filming that I would do. I mean, there's not a lot of audio going on. It's just riding the bike, but the scenery is fantastic. And, it's just great to see Ivan doing something a little bit different than diagnosing cars and fixing them. And that's what I think channels are all about. It's not just about the main content. I think sometimes and not all viewers would agree, but I think it's quite nice to see the creator, in this case Ivan, just doing other things. At the end of the day, he's human, he has a life, and he does an amazing job with the videos that he puts out. But there's a lot of work. There's an awful lot of work in creating videos, especially when I still have a very full-time job as well, and I just can't put out the volume of content that Ivan can. He works full-time again from his workshop, and that's a great way to be able to create the videos. The repairs and the videos, run in parallel, and therefore he gets a lot of cases. Plus he does a few road trips as well, doing diagnostics off-site as well, and that's interesting. And those cherry picker things that he works on, I find those very interesting to see how he gets them going again. No parts required, right? Now then, oh my word, hang on, let me scroll up. Is the pie warmer still going? It is, pie warmer's still going. Simon, 1, 2, 3, 4 worked log. 1, 2, 3, 4 worked log. What was that about? Maybe I've not seen that bit. Bike MOT in the UK, maximum they can charge is £29.65. So equivalent. It's probably about the same, isn't it? But I tell you what now, an MOT in the UK is far more intensive than a warrant of fitness on a car here in New Zealand. The testers in the UK tend to be pretty good and pretty thorough. There's places here in New Zealand, man, what goes on in the background on warrant of fitness, and you've opened a can of worms again, Simon, and this is the God honest truth, because I used to work for I won't name them, right, but there's a couple of very large organisations around New Zealand, AA, VCNZ, and so on, which perform they have warrant of fitness testing stations, pretty much in every single town in New Zealand, right? And it's a conveyor belt type system, a drive-through. You drive in at one end of the building, and then when it drives out at the other end, it's either failed or passed the warrant. The inspection's been completed. Very different to the kind of inspection you do in a garage where you put it on the hoist, you take it to a test drive, that kind of thing. Then both sites have exactly the same criteria to adhere to under the VERM, the Bible for the warrant of fitness. But the conveyor belt style ones, I call them, they operate very, very differently, where you may have probably 4, if not 5 different inspectors inspecting different parts of the vehicle as it progresses through the building. When I was working for this particular site, and I worked there on Sundays, and sometimes if it was school holidays and I wasn't teaching at Unitec, I might be there for a couple of days during the week as well. We do the warrants, the inspections, up until about lunchtime, by the book, and if we found faults, pie's ready. If we found faults, that would cause it to fail, it would fail. But sometimes around lunchtime, the manager of the site, who was monitoring the pass-fail rate, he would come through and have a talk with us and say, we're failing too many, you need to pass a few more. And I just, the first time I heard this, I'm like, what? Each vehicle's inspected on its own merits, and it gets a pass or a fail depending on its condition, right? That's it. You can't look at your overall percentage of pass or fail and say that we're passing too many or failing too many, but they did, and for some of the staff, it would sway whether they allowed things to go through that maybe weren't critically bad. They sort of eased up or got more stringent depending on what needed to be done, what instructions they received from their manager. And once I felt very, very uncomfortable with this, and I didn't really toe the line. If it failed, right? And I just stuck to the guns. And it wasn't long before I decided that wasn't the place for me anymore. I wasn't going to get associated with that mentality. Land Transport also monitor the number of warrants that an individual puts through per day. And in a normal garage, if you're putting through more than 8 or 9 car warrants a day, then in their opinion you've not had enough time to do the inspection correctly. Well, I'll tell you now, on a Sunday, working at this particular conveyor belt site, doing the inspections, there could be 3 of us working there on a Sunday, and we could easily, without any problem, working our arse off, don't get me wrong, 80 or 90 warrants. 80 or 90 inspections in one day for 3 inspectors. Yet, they didn't get pinged for it. Not once did we ever get pinged for it. And it just, again, it's just wrong, isn't it? I know things are a bit more efficient when you've got a conveyor belt type system going on, but things were missed. I know things were missed. I've taken vehicles to this particular site to have them inspected, knowing they have faults. I've done like a pre-inspection at home, taken it down, and it comes out with a warrant. And it's like, what the hell? Did you not notice the bushes on the arm? Did you not notice that the top hat mount on the strut was completely knackered? Oh, is it? Well, give me the warrant now. I'm going to drive home and I'm still going to fix them because I know that they need to be done. But you've passed that. Really? It's just scary what goes on. I read on Facebook, I think it was, and obviously a very good source of information, there was a warranted fitness place that Land Transport had gone down, and they caught them doing dodgy warrants or, again, not inspecting properly. This was a standalone garage. Over 800 warrants have been revoked. 800 vehicles, 800 owners now will have been contacted to say, you got a warrant at this place, it's been cancelled, you need to get your car re-inspected. I mean, it's bad, isn't it? And that's not the first time it's happened here in New Zealand. So to some extent, I'm quite pleased to be out of the warrant world these days. I don't have time for it. It's not a great money earner, and it does create a lot of conflict with some particular people, some car owners, motorbike owners, if you fail the vehicle. I mean, I could tell you stories all day long about stuff that the customer would swear blind that it's fine, and he would go off and do some research on the internet, and full well that it's an absolute fail. And the bottom line is, as an inspector, if you're not sure, if there's an element of doubt, fail it. Fail it, and then they can always go somewhere else for an inspection, somewhere else to get another point of view. But if you're not sure, if it's a bit borderline, just fail it, because at the end of the day, not just the safety of that driver is at stake, it's the safety of other road users as well. And if something fails, for example, the tyres are absolute borderline, right down to the wear limits, and it's pouring down the rain outside, and there's maybe a few cracks in the tread as well, and full well the tyre's naked. Sorry, mate, you need new tyres. I don't want you driving around with those. Because you're probably going to continue to drive with those tyres on until your next warrant. So next week, those tyres will be illegal. And it's just, yeah, maybe it's the wrong way of thinking about it. And I know the inspection is the condition of the vehicle on the day, but sometimes you just got to think there's a moral duty here. Be safe. Because the mentality here in New Zealand by some drivers is if it's passed a warrant, it's good to go for another year, and nothing gets done to the car for another whole year. And they often think, some people think that a warranty fitness, a warranty fitness is a service. There's some drivers, think that the warranty fitness makes the car good again for another year. It doesn't. Anyway, I'm on a rant, sorry. And scrolling back very quickly. Matowitz. Right, Simon. Simon. Sheldon. Sheldon's in the workshop. Morning, Sheldon. Welcome back, matey. Good to hear from you. Sheldon says, "Morning, Andy and crew. Watch out for that stress and business or buses and buses. Bosses. Don't know. Stress, I know, it gets to all of us, and Sheldon knows exactly what I'm talking about. He's seen me when I've been stressed, and it's not nice for anybody, to be honest. It isn't. Sometimes you just got to step back, take a breath, because what's a huge problem today will not even be a problem next week. Normally it's solved, and you just got to put things in perspective. There is a lot worse things out in the world to worry about than a motorcycle that doesn't run properly, for example. Get over it. It'll get fixed. Just hang fire. Let us do our job. Jim, Mr. Haynes. Welcome back to the workshop, Mr. Haynes. Late, but here. Like button pushed. 1 of the 10 out of 20 watching. Good man. We've got 18 watching today. It's very, very low on the viewings actually today for some reason. I wonder what else is going on in the world. Connor K. Good morning, Andy and crew. Thanks for getting up early on a rainy New Zealand Sunday morning. It was not good. To visit with us. I have hit the like. Absolute pleasure, Connor. It really is. And, like I said before, this live stream would still go ahead if it had one single viewer. It's as much for me as it is for the viewers. It's a bit of downtime. It lets me sort of reflect on the last couple of weeks, what I'm going to be doing for the next couple of weeks. It's nice to have a bit of a chat with your mates. That's all it is, really. We talk about all sorts of stuff, and obviously it's a bespoke kind of content. The majority of viewers that watch the videos don't watch the live streams. That's fine. It really doesn't bother me, to be honest. It's just a way of me engaging with you guys rather than just replying to comments. It's nice to talk directly. Oh, Jim Haynes, message retracted. Sheldon, XT250, not available in New Zealand. That used to be, not anymore, unfortunately. Simon Rawls, but you might get a good second-hand one. There's some out there that haven't done many Ks. Simon Rawls, 0250. What a machine! Okay. That sounds dodgy for a start. Let's have a look. SEROW. SEROW 250. Bear with me. Oh, look at that. Images. Yes. Oh, I see. It's just got a different name. It is an XT250. It's a nice bike. Well built. Made in Japan, no doubt. Good bit of kit. I do like those bikes. There was a little story. We had a couple come in. This was when I was working in Henderson at a Yamaha dealership. A couple were travelling around the world on a couple of these XT250s. And they'd made it as far as New Zealand. They'd obviously come a very long way. You can't really get much further. And I just started at Yamaha, maybe only, 6 months in or something. And one of them had a little bit of a big end knock. Wasn't good. And they still had a long way to go. And the bikes were way out of warranty, they'd covered 1 million miles. and they were a bit low on funds. And I said to them, I said, look, you know, your warranties run out by, I don't know, 6 months or whatever. I think they came with a 2-year warranty then. I said, but you've been flying the flag for Yamaha across the world. How could I not repair your motorcycle for free? How could I not do that? So we did. We stripped that engine down and we completely refurbished it, put it all back together, and sent them on the way. And somewhere, I don't know what it'll be, either maybe not in this phone, but somewhere on the cloud, somewhere, there's a photo of me with the two of them, with their two bikes in the yard at the motorcycle shop, bidding them farewell on the rest of their journey. And it was quite a moving experience, actually. And they were super grateful. We got it done in about I believe a week, maybe 10 days. The repair was done, and they were very, very happy. And that's what it's all about. That's motorcycling, right? You know, you help them out. They're doing a great thing, and I would expect the same if I was doing the same kind of thing. You know, flying the flag for the brand. Bloody awesome. Jim Haynes, to quote AJ Foyt, hopefully I've pronounced that right, famous race car driver, said in the 70s, we have people in government making laws about cars that could never change a spark plug, and it continues on ABS requirements. It's a nanny state stuff. Yeah, I had no problems at all with ABS being an optional extra on cars like it used to be years ago. I thought, you know, if they want to pay for it, it's great. I was driving my dad's Renault 25 down the M1 with the trailer on, going. I just passed got my license. He was in the passenger seat. We were driving way too fast, as we always did. You know, I was just copying my dad, right? But he was an ex-rally driver. He did a few rallies and stuff, so he knew how to handle the car. But I was just driving along in the rain. Went over, you know, a slight crest on the motorway, and all I could see was red lights. Every brake light on every vehicle was on. There were stationary cars. Trailer wasn't braked. It wasn't over heavy, but it wasn't braked. And I was thinking, holy shit, there is no way we're going to get stopped. And I just slammed the brakes on, and of course the ABS cut in, and all I had to do was try and keep the car in a straight line. And we did get stopped, but not a lot of room to spare, but we did get stopped. And if the car hadn't had ABS, there is no way we'd have got stopped. That I'd have crashed straight into the car in front of me, and probably pretty hard, to be fair. So, you know, for normal road users, ABS is definitely a bonus. For motorcyclists who ride on tarmac, yes, it's a bonus, and there are lots of other safety features now on motorcycles as well. You know, traction control and stability control, all that kind of stuff on the high-end bikes, and all of that will filter through the models, no doubt. At some point, they'll get more and more complicated. But if you ride on gravel, you don't want ABS, you know. And they've made it recently. They've made it so that legislation that you can't deactivate the ABS on a trail bike. When you go off road, you don't want ABS to work when you're going off road. That's just absolute bollocks. It really is. Have they ever ridden a bike with ABS off road? No. Well, maybe you should try it sometime, because you're going to fall off and you're going to crash. Simple as that. So you're absolutely right. They do not understand the vehicle type and where it goes, and what's the best option for that type of vehicle. So I agree with you completely. Totally agree. For the novices, for the young riders, the lambs riders that are allowed now to buy a 650cc motorcycle, which is stupid in itself, they can get on a bike that's far more high performance than anything I was ever allowed to ride on a learner's license, and they never learn, because they've got ABS, they never learn how to handle the bike properly. They don't know how to react, you know, if the ABS stops working, for example. They just rely on it all the time, because that's what the bike does, right? They don't seem to learn the full skill set. And plus, they're on a much faster bike, so, you know, maybe on the road, maybe it does get a few of them out of a sticky situation. But when it first came out as on the bikes, I mean, you could buy an MT-07 with ABS, and you could buy one without ABS. It was an option on the models for a period of time. Before now, they've all got it. I don't need ABS when I'm riding. But saying that, I might come over a crest and there might be a truck trying to reverse into a driveway and it's pouring a rain, and maybe the ABS might just help to get me stopped and keep directional control of the bike. It's a hard one to say, isn't it? It really is. I think as long as the ABS isn't too intrusive and you can turn it off when you don't want it, I don't see a problem with it. Other than the fact that when it stops working, it's a huge chunk of money to fix it sometimes. You know, ABS modules and pumps and so on are very expensive on motorcycles. Anyone who needs ABS on a motorcycle shouldn't be on the road. Fair enough. I think that goes back to what I was saying earlier on, where the new riders coming on board, they don't learn, they don't gain the full skill set. That's what I'm going to say on it. And you know, Lord forbid if they jumped on an enduro bike that doesn't have ABS and they ride it on the road, which many of us do from time to time, they're probably going to come a cropper because they're reliant on that safety feature. That's the problem. Mike Adams, I had to step away for a minute. Sorry, I'm behind. I do like the videos of creators going off on their normal subject and doing their own thing. We all still might learn things by accident. Yes, absolutely. You know, and I mean, I try to keep it reasonably varied and do different stuff. But I also try to keep the main theme as repairs and diagnostics and, you know, stuff that I do in the workshop, basically. Simon, hit the like, crew. Thanks, Simon. Sheldon. Oh, this will be a good one. Something to do with buses. Where did it go? Right. Buses, as in thrown up. Thanks, Sheldon. I didn't get it the first time. Yes. Yes, sometimes you can get thrown under the bus. You can be the scapegoat. You can be targeted as the problem. And I don't take that lightly. I really do not. And the motorcycle industry here in New Zealand is a very close-knit, small community. And we have long memories. You know, you don't burn your bridges is all I'll say. Because you're going to be ringing me up again next week and you're going to want me to help you. That's the bottom line, isn't it? You know, we're only human, and it doesn't matter how professional we are. If you get thrown under the bus by somebody, you don't forget it. Oh, the pie warmer dinged. Sorry, let's go and get the pie. I'll come back to those two comments in a minute. Let's go and get the pie. Turn you around, 3, 2, 1, boom. There we go. Oh, we've been rambling on. Sorry, people. Right. Blame Simon. He got me on a... And Jonathan. They got me on a bit of a rant, both of them. Warrants and ABS. Okay. It's probably eating temperature, actually, which is good. I don't think it'll last very long. We'll rattle through the pie, because it's probably cracking on time-wise. What time are we on? 9:30. Holy crap. Right, turn you around. Boom. That should do the trick. About there. Don't fall off the bench. Okay, so those that have just joined us, or two more actually. The pie we've got is a Westie pie, steak and cheese, 170 grams. Only cost $2.75. A very cheap pie. It's extremely light, quite thin in height as well. It's not a very tall pie, but it is square. That might be the saving grace. Who knows? We've got a bit of a structural problem here going on, and there's a crack developing down there. The base is still good. The lid hasn't really changed. And there's no other... Oh, maybe there's a little bit of a crack there as well. The rest of it's not too bad. So where do we start? Well, we'll start at the flap. Always the best place, hey? Right, there we go. I'll get the comments going, won't it? Okay, we're going in. Okay. So, basically no content. Just pastry. You're quite right, Jonathan. It's just bloody pastry. Oh, and very dry pastry to that as well. Oh man, I really forced myself to swallow this one down. Simon, it's named after a Japanese Siro mountain goat. Good name, I like that. They don't call them that here in New Zealand, but obviously they call them that in the UK, right? John Dwyer. Hi, Sir Andy. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I totally totally agree with you. I'm an ex-MOTer here in the UK, and yes, they are on the individual vehicle for public safety. You have to be. I mean, for the guy to come through and say, "Hey, can you pass a few more?" What the hell? I mean, yeah, sure, mate. Stick it on an email. I want to see that in writing. They wouldn't be doing that, would they? Right, we're going to have some more now. Some more pastry. Okay, I'm just going to open it up so you can try and see the token gesture of content. It's almost like it's been spread on with a knife. It's that thin. We've got about 5mm depth of gravy stuff. No meat yet. No meat whatsoever. So Westy pies, it's not looking good, people. It really isn't. And you know, why would you make it? I mean, I know it's cheap, but it doesn't do the job. It's not good at all. There was a piece of meat in there though. Didn't really get to any kind of flavour out of it, but there was. So structure fully partners. Let's leave that a little bit longer because the bench is getting covered in pastry. I'm going to be as fair as I possibly can with this pie. Runnability test. Well, okay, 45 degrees. Oh, there's the beach hop on at the moment. So that's why you can hear loads of motorbikes around. They've all been staying at a local hotel, and it's a bit of a washout for them, unfortunately. It's been raining all day yesterday, or most of yesterday. It's been raining all day today as well. It's not good. So it's definitely passed the runnability test, only because there's nothing inside the pie. Not a good idea, but it passed, so it gets a 10. Meat quality. We haven't had really any meat yet, so I can't really judge on that. Here we go. Pie to crust ratio. So this is the amount of pastry versus the filling. Well, absolutely horrific. Probably the worst pie we have ever had as regards tiny amounts of filling and massive amounts of pastry. So, what does it get? Should it get a 1? I believe it should get a 1. It's absolutely horrific. How they could even call it a pie, I don't know. Oh, a piece of gristle. Not very nice gristle at all. That was disgusting. Sorry about that, chaps. My apologies. I wasn't going to let that go inside me. Right, that really put me off. So, taste, stroke, flavour of the contents. After that piece, no. 2. I mean, it could be worse. We'll give it a 2. It could be absolutely vile. And I had got a few bites into it before we got that. So, 2 for now. It could get worse. It might end up being a 0. Right, what else have we got? Availability logistics. Well, to be fair, I have never seen this brand before, the Westy brand. So, they're obviously not readily available. Let's see if we can Google it actually, while we're seeing what Google open. Oh, pardon me. Westy pies. Oh. It's funny how it comes up with dogs first. That's hilarious. Right, hang on, we're going to go on their website and see what they read about it. It's a bit slow. Sorry, the internet's not great because we don't want that. Let's go back. Try again. Vodafone's chipping in saying they wanted a password for some reason. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I'll read it out to you. Westy, great price, great taste, great mate. Strong branding to resonate with mainstream Kiwis looking for taste, convenience foods at an affordable price. So yes, very strong with the branding. Unfortunately, the contents of the pie packet don't stack up. Westie Food Group, run by a Community Connect marketing program with special partnerships and relationships with the New Zealand Vodafone Warriors Rugby League and Auckland Blues Rugby. Well, to be perfectly honest, the Vodafone, the Warriors and the Blues, my recommendation is you should have nothing to do with a pie like this. It's absolute shit. It really is. Right. It's called a Westie single snack, I think. Individually wrapped single snacks in breathable film suitable for reheat. Available through convenience stores, but not that many of them. Yeah. So we've got a bit of a range. Maybe I'll show you. Hang on. Just bear with me. Put the pie down. Turn you round. Boom. Okay. They're probably not going to like this, but anyway, not to worry. I'll deal with it. So, going back to the top, this is their website, Westie Pies. So it's WESTIE pies.co.nz. You can look at it yourself if you're really that interested. This is the bit that I've already read. There's the pies. Looks fantastic on there, doesn't it? And then you've got the single snack stuff. They also do some other bits and pieces as well. But, you know, the bottom line is, God, is that it? It's like a child has made that website. Wow. Okay, back to the normal stuff. Resume normal transmission. Doesn't really warrant any kind of more coverage on there, to be fair. Okay. Oh, look, there's a bit of massively processed cheese sticking out. I've never seen cheese that colour before in a pie. That's disgusting, that is. So, available as logistics. I don't know, they're only available. Came from a dairy not too far away. They've never had them before. They just happened to have them this time. Maybe they couldn't get the normal ones that run out. 1, 2. Don't know. 1. I've only ever seen them. Well, this is the only time I've ever come across them in that one dairy, so I'm just going to give them a 1. Pastry taste rating. We know it's already ridiculously dry. A bit at the top. A bit aside. Incredibly bland and very, very dry. 2. I'm losing enthusiasm for this pie very quickly. Still tasty when cold, but we're going to find out very soon because it is getting cold real quick. It's got a very small mass and it's dumping its heat real quick. Packaging design. Well, it's clear, so you can see, at least you can see that you're buying something that's crap. There's a lot of information on there. They've gone for like a real basic. I mean, I must admit, what's on the website does look very different to what's in my hand here. And obviously, you know, a bit of Photoshop makes all the difference, right? Tells you how to warm it up. Made in West Auckland. Imported and New Zealand ingredients. Nice. Avondale. It says it all, actually. I go to a scrap metal place in Avondale. It gives you an idea of what goes on over there. Okay, it's got perforations in it. You've got to be fair about this. The packaging isn't too bad. Oh, hang on. Jesus. Right, we'll give it I don't know, 5. Let's give it a 5. It's got the window, it's got the perforations. Is it recyclable? In a word, no. There's no mention of even putting it in the bin because in West Auckland, well, they just don't. They just leave them on the floor, let them blow around in the wind. It's not the greatest places. If you ever come to New Zealand, there's no need to go to West Auckland. There isn't. You're not missing anything at all. Sorry, but it's just. Right. So I'm going to give them. I think we give them a 1, don't we? No, they get a 1 if they tell us it has to go in the bin. So they get a 0. It is not recyclable. Oh man, that's like 3 burps already. Okay, slight hint of cheese, and that's the cheese there, look. Okay, we found some contents. There you go, look. We've actually found a bit more heat as well. So, it's just, how they can call it steak, I don't know. It really is just like a gravy kind of mush that's in there. The cheese looks very dubious. It really does. Good side, no more gristle, right? But the meat tastes very bland. There is the odd piece of meat, but it's not very nice meat. It's almost like sort of second-rate stewing steak stuff. It's pretty poor quality, to be honest. What else do we still need? Structure Foley Partners. Well, it's still going, and we're nearly there now, so we can score that. Had a couple of cracks, but nothing fell off. I could almost. I mean, I did find myself holding it with two hands most of the time. What we're going to give it? We've got to be fair. We have to be fair about this. I know I'm already on the back foot with it, but 6, 5. Let's give it a 5. I'll give it a 5. Okay. Meat quality. I'm going to score that now. The meat quality was shit. It's going to get a 1. It's just rubbish. It still is. Man, the cheese tastes really weird. It almost doesn't taste like cheese. You know there's something else in the pie, but it just doesn't seem like cheese. I mean, you can see it on the lid under there, all that really weird yellowy orangey colour stuff. Mrs. Mechanic, you are never to buy another one of these pies. Well, that cheese it's almost rancid. It's nasty, really nasty. Still tasty when cold. No, I don't think it'll taste very nice at all cold. Especially when you get bits of gristle in it, and you've got cheese, not cheese. I think it'll just taste weird and very, very dry as well if you tried to have this cold further down the line out in your glove box. I think it would do a lot better being put in the bin, to be honest. I'm just going to leave it a 1 for that. It would keep you alive, possibly, due to the nutritional value, but that's about it. Okay. Sorry. It takes a bit of chewing and a bit of swallowing. Pie server attractiveness. Local store. The young lady there always gets a 6, so I'll give her probably almost the highest scoring. Second highest scoring mark on the board there was the lady that actually served us. Stuffability score, not quite there yet. Post pie heartburn, definitely 3 burps already, so that's down to 7. That might change later on. And all that's left now is stuffability score. So, last piece. Got to feed the mouse in. I don't think I've ever said this about a pie before. Oh, Mrs. Mechanic, hang on, she's chipped in with pie server attractiveness. We've got an update. Bear with us. Go back. Hang on. Oh no, she's given the pie server a 4 today. It was a different person. Right, so pie server's dropped to 4. I've never said this about a pie before. That was an absolute chore to eat. Didn't enjoy it at all. Only did it for you guys. Probably going to regret it later on, to be fair. The cheese was obviously made from something which was never ever came from any kind of dairy product. It was just most bizarre. Maybe the Americans might like it, but just to me that was just nasty. The big chunk of gristle, the largest piece of meat and I use the word meat loosely. The largest piece of meat in that pie was a real nasty piece of gristle I had to fire out. It's down there. Mousy can have that. Just the whole experience from the first mouthful, really dry pastry, and then we finally get into the meat, and it turns out to be pretty crap meat and a huge chunk of gristle. Then the cheese kicks in, and it's not cheese; it just tastes just horrible. Can't really explain it. Almost had a bit of a twang, a bit of a tang to it, you know. Almost a little bit spicy was the cheese, and you think, Christ, what the hell's in there, you know? And my throat's still quite dry, and of course it's probably going to cause a massive amount of acid reflux later on as well. So, stuffability score. It was a small pie. I am absolutely not satisfied. I'm still hungry. A huge disappointment. 6. So we're down to 6 on the burpee stuff. Stuffability score. 3. Oh man, right. Let's get this thing added up. Oh, I didn't bring a little sticky thing out. Hang on, let's go and get one of those magnetic strips. I forgot all about that. I was in a bit of a rush this morning. I wanted to get the workshop cleared out before it started raining. Yeah, we're down here, look. There we go. That one. Still got plenty more to go at, look. Perfect. Okay. Oh, I've really lost my mojo now because of that pie. That was just nasty. Okay, around here, look. Let's get you twizzled down a bit. And you can give me a hand adding up these complex large figures. Not. Okay, so we have got, can you see? You can. Just. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 28, 34, 37, oh my word, 41. I don't think we've ever had a pie with such a low score. 41 out of 130. That is absolutely horrific. Okay, the last time I will ever see one of these packagings, it's a Westie. Steak and cheese. Christ almighty. Trade description springs to mind. 170 gram. Everything crap. Every part. Crap. And I'm going to put on there gristle actually. I can't spell gristle. Tell me if it's wrong. 41. Wow. Well, we know exactly where that's going to go on the leaderboard, don't we? Westie Pies. Please don't ring me up, Westie Pies, and ask to sponsor the YouTube channel because I will say absolutely. Oh, by the way, July. Bit of a different taste there. Right. Okay. I'm sure you can order those online, to be fair. Anyway. Oh, God. Look, right down in the dirt. Bear with me, people. I'm on my knees putting this one up. Right. All it's going to do is get the brush head smacked against it every day because it was that shit. There you go. Hopefully we will never see a pie lower than that. 41 Westie Pies. Well done, people. You're making New Zealand shine. Great job. Oh, man. Right. I am so pleased that's over. Okay, let's have a cigarette, finish the coffee. You see, it's raining so hard, Mrs. Mechanic won't even bring me another coffee out. She's going to bring me some toast as soon as the live stream's finished, that's for sure. Because that was just pants. Right, hang on, I haven't even got you on the screen. Oh, okay, get rid of that. Don't need that anymore. Goodbye. Okay, where do we get to? Scrolling up. Right, let's get back to normal. Normal service resumes. Simon, I know somehow how to set you off on a rant. You do, Simon. You sure do, mate. Oh, I've got to get rid of that taste. That was just disgusting, mate. Sorry. Madowix, I don't see how there can be a maximum 8 cars per day watt limit when VTNZ does 60 plus a day for years. If I was to put through more, I mean, on motorcycles it's a little bit quicker to do warrants, and so you probably, I was told maybe 11, maybe 12 motorcycle warrants a day was before you started to get flagged. And I had done that many in a day. Sometimes on a Saturday it was pretty damn busy. But that was in a motorcycle shop, not at the particular establishment. And it wasn't VTMZ, okay? It wasn't them. It was a very similar establishment with a yellow square as their logo. I'm sure there's lots of companies with yellow squares, so I've not given away there. I am absolutely confident that that NZTA, they must turn a blind eye to it. You know, you can have 4, sometimes 5 staff on duty, and they'll fire through 130, 140 a day, no problems at all. Doesn't stack up when you start working out how much actual time was spent on the car, on the vehicle, going through that conveyor system. It's bugger all. It really is. I mean, yes, they're quick at doing what they do. Don't get me wrong, they are. But it's nowhere near as a thorough warrant as you would get if you went to a garage. Oh, God. That takes you down to 40. John Dwyer, pastry sandwich, nil point. You're right. It was practically a pastry sandwich with a lump of gristle in the middle and some foul tasting, what they call cheese, yellowy, orangey kind of thing. Madowix, Westies can't write pie on the wrapper because they aren't 50% meat. Sure as hell wasn't 50% meat. It absolutely was not 50% meat. There was. If I was to say, put all the gravy aside, the big chunk of gristle, that's not really meat, is it? So you chuck that aside, it's actually chucked on the floor. I don't know, 3%, 4% actual meat in weight to the 170 gram overall weight of the pie. Now they're just rubbish, to be honest. I would never recommend buying a Westie pie. They're just absolute cat. By the way, it's technically a savoury, not a pie. They are pack and save cheap savouries. Mike Adams, I'm pulling double duty, listening about turning wrenches while making shelving out of hardwood pallets. Mike, I often, when I'm working in the workshop and not filming, I'll often put something like James May on the background on the laptop and just listen to James doing stuff, reassembling things, whatever it is. I find it super relaxing, super peaceful, and just interesting. Because every now and again he'll do something, oh, I've not seen that bit before, and I'll watch it, you know, because it gets a bit boring in the workshop on your own sometimes. And even if Mrs. Mechanic's here, she's quite happy to listen to James May ranting on about bits and pieces. Funny guy. I was thinking, actually, I'll put this idea behind to you, and it may not happen, it's just an idea at this stage. But James May, on one of the reassemblers that I watched, I think it was Series 1, he did a reassembly of a Honda monkey bike, one of the little 50cc ones. You know, I think it's called reassembling a motorcycle. Now, James, unfortunately, isn't doing a lot of filming these days. He's not over well, to be fair, from what I understand. And you might have seen he's had sort of a bit of the shakes now and again when he's been filming the last couple of Amazon, what are they called, the Grand Tours. Fantastic bloke, and done a tremendous amount for the automotive industry and for the viewers, entertaining automotive, you know, viewers, people that enjoy that kind of stuff. That was some rain. You know, he's been brilliant, as have, you know, Mr. Clarkson and Mr. May as well, Mr. Hammond as well. Um, but I was thinking, I was putting it by Mrs. Mechanic. I said, look, we've got a monkey bike. I know it's one of the newer ones, but wouldn't it be nice to do a tribute? I know James is still around. He hasn't passed away, thank God, you know. But it would be quite nice to do a tribute, just a thank you to James, to say, hey, I really appreciate what you've done for the automotive entertainment world, the culture. I thoroughly enjoyed for decades the episodes that you've put out and the videos and stuff. Why not we do a monkey bike rebuild on your new 125 monkey bike? I mean, it needs to be cleaned anyway and thoroughly inspected because of what you did to it in 16 days crossing New Zealand. So I could strip the whole thing down, I could clean a few bits and pieces up, and then lay it all out and just do a reassembly of that bike. It needs to be done anyway, so why not film it? So let me know what your thoughts are. If you think it's a good idea, then obviously I'll try and schedule that for later in the year and we'll get it done. Now, moving on. We're getting very close. We're up to an hour and a half, so we're on borrowed time. John, just watching your back as you put the score on the pie door, thinking it's near the floor. This one long. Yes, it was definitely on the floor. Cheers, John. Jim Haynes. Small political rants triggered by mandatory ABS on bikes in New Zealand government. Overreach is completely out of control worldwide and only gotten worse since the China virus lockdowns. Well, maybe it's coincidental, I don't know, but as humans, the common sense factor has pretty much been ruled out now completely, hasn't it? You know, the next generation, they're just going to be so reliant on technology, and the skill set is going to be bugger all, basically. I don't know. I quite enjoy having a bit of skill and knowing stuff, being able to work things out. You know, when I was at school, years ago, a long time ago now, on the Sunday, the boarders used to get shown how to change ignition points and do timing and change the oil and stuff on cars. The boys, obviously the girls were taught how to cook. That's just how it was back then. I'm just explaining what it was. I'm not saying it was bad or good. You know, and if one of the girls wanted to learn how to fix a car, I have no problems at all with that. I mean, I used to teach female students all the time. But now none of that happens. All the lathes have been ripped out of the metal workshops. The metal workshops have been shut down. The woodwork shops have been shut down in the schools. They just don't teach that stuff anymore. The hands-on, using tools stuff. The working things out. How are you going to do this? The fag packet designs, turning it into a real drawing, planning your attack, building a prototype. All that kind of stuff is just gone. So what's going to happen in 50 or 100 years' time, or 50 years' time, when that generation is now retired? Who's going to work stuff out? Are we going to rely on computers to work everything out and design everything for us? Probably. It's pretty sad. I keep thinking of the Matrix movies. One day, people, it might happen. Not in my lifetime, though. Madowix, can you get an Asian or Pacific Island tool girl? How did I know that was coming? Tool girls are probably in the history books now, to be perfectly honest. I don't know what the future holds. Nobody does. But at the moment, Holly pretty much is focused on her career. Logistics-wise, it's hard to get tool girls to come down to the workshop from Auckland. There doesn't seem to be much demand locally. You know, it's quite a niche sort of market to find a tool girl that's any good in the workshop. And one that meets all the criteria. Being polite, just got to meet the criteria. So maybe just we'll keep that as a vision in your own mind. You know, I don't think it's going to happen. Now then, hang on a minute. I just read one. I'll come to that one. By the way, can you get a no. Simon? Shame you didn't have a male dog 41. It's just the right height. Very good. 41 is just the right height. You're absolutely right there, mate. Jim, can we change the calendar back to June, please? I think we should do that. I think we should very much do that. So I will change the calendar to something else. I agree. I concur, good sir. That's what I should say. Simon, that will be cool, but you need to have a few extra nuts at the end. Yes. Well, they always go in the top of the toolbox, right, for a rainy day. Okay, we'll do that. I'll throw a few extra nuts and bolts in there just to see how we get on. Connor K, a tribute to James May. That's a good idea. The guy has done so much to keep us entertained, as well as educate us for so many years. The most mechanically able of anyone of the trio. Absolutely, he has a wonderful thought process, and he's very funny as well. You know, he can just sit there with the toolbox and something, and he can just rant and talk away, and I just find it really entertaining and peaceful. It doesn't get me wound up at all. He knows how. I don't know what it is. There's just something about how he presents and the little stories that he brings in. It's just awesome. So yes, that's one vote. It won't take many votes to get that on the cards. Mike Adams, I take the idea about the monkey bike James May tribute. I say, let us know what kind of budget it will take, and if anyone else is interested in joining me on this. Well, we've already got the monkey bike. It's just a bit of time. That's all it is. I'm not asking for any donations towards it. It's just something that I thought would be a really nice thing to do, and I wanted to put it by you guys. Mrs. Mechanic liked the idea, other than the fact she didn't like the idea of me tearing a monkey bike to pieces. You know, she was quite upset by that. But hey, I sort of know what I'm doing, so we should be all right. Mike Adams, I'll pitch in. What can I when I can towards it. All good, Mike. Well, if you want to put a donation through, you know how to do that. Just do it through the PayPal. Thank you, Mike. Simon, when the old boys retire, we have lost some major skills. Simple stuff like drilling a bolt. Yeah, you're right. All those skills are just disappearing. But the monkey bike will end up in a box for 3 years. It will not. It can't. Funny guy. Don't get me started again, Simon. The lathe, for example. I know. The lathe, the bed is still over there, still in bits. Still got to order some more stuff. I plan to be around for many more years, and that'll be a great project when I'm a bit older to put back together again. And Ben hasn't got any room for a lathe. He just comes down here and uses my Boxford. You know, it's not a problem. But I will get it put back together. I guarantee it's going to go back together. And I'm going to enjoy doing it. I've still got that repair to do on the headstock as well, actually. Yeah. Either that or I might just find another one. Another headstock. Don't know. We'll see. It'll be more fun fixing it, won't it? Oh my word. Jim Haynes, will you do the monkey bike after the go-kart? Yes, I have to get that go-kart done. It's still up there. I'll turn you around, look, you can see. It's still there. That's the frame. It's just busy rusting away at the moment, so it'll probably need even more welding when I get around to it. We will get there. One day. Low-hanging fruit to jabber. I like it. Aft. Hey Andy, do you guys have Kmart over there? Over there? If so, how are they faring? I don't really shop in Kmart. They are still around. I don't know if they're struggling or not, to be honest. Simon, how old are them kids now, lol? Yes, we're all children, kids at heart, to be fair, aren't we? And they really are. I think that's what makes them funny as well. You know, they think, you know, along the lines of a child. All of them, really. Maybe Mr. May is probably the most mature out of all of them. But, you know, one of them cracks a joke and the other two just piss themselves laughing. It's hilarious. It really is. It's like being at the school playground again with your mates, isn't it? Whole shed water filter. What? Oh! with the, was that Kmart? Yeah, when there was heavy rain in Auckland and it was actually just pouring into down one of the central. Obviously, they've got a pitched roof and they've got a gutter that runs down the middle, which clearly wasn't big enough, and the gutter got overwhelmed and it just rained inside the store. Yes, brilliant design. We used to have a house in Greenhive like that, and it rained inside the house. I think that was the first video I ever posted on my YouTube channel, so you can go and find that and you'll see it. You'll see the rain pouring in inside the house. Classic. Probably going to get twice as many views now. Okay, crew, we're there. Last cigarette had, coffee's gone cold. We're well overdue on time. Apologies about the pie. It was absolute rubbish. And all I could say is, if you ever come to New Zealand, do not, under any circumstances, even if you're starving, do not buy a Westie pie. And you know exactly why not. Okay, crew, thanks again for all your support. Oh, hang on, we've got one more. No, just spotted the setup as you turned the camera in the shed. Oh, yeah, well, you mean as regards the rain and stuff coming in? Yeah, I know, we've got a few little drops here and there. Okay, crew, thanks again for joining, and thank you for your support, and I will add the monkey bike rebuild to the list. All right, crew, take care, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Cheers. Over and out.